Hello everyone, this is ACH AIA Kaya bringing you game 3 from the 1v1 matchup between Fear and 13. This is of course still the first round, the round of 32 of the Wrath of the xel'naga tournament. And this is sponsored by the SC2 Armory. This is something that Blood Wolf has been participating, or actually hosting rather. He's been organizing it. And Jim and I are going to be commentating all the games later in the rounds. I believe starting in the round of 8 we are going to do some dual commentaries as well, so keep an eye out for that. But game 3 is going to be on Blistering Sands, and of course the Terran player Fear spawning in the upper right here. Again, the purple Terran, and in the lower left we do have 13 as the blue Protoss once again. And this of course is a 1v1 map, so both players will know exactly where the other players spawn, which means that there is a little bit higher likelihood that we may see some kind of cheese. So we'll see if we see some new interesting tactics here. Both players have more or less been playing macro games for the most part, with the exception of in game 1. Fear did hide the Tech 4 a Thor, which was a little bit earlier than I think 13 was ready to deal with it. But it looks like 13 going to wall off at the front of his expansion choke, which is something that I've seen more and more Protoss players do. It's basically the same as the Forge Fast Expand that you would see in StarCraft 1, and especially on maps like this where the choke from the expansion is actually not much wider than the choke outside of the main base here. It is easy to wall that off by putting a couple of gateways down there, or even a forge and some cannons, and you can defend that relatively easily and get your expansion up and running pretty early. And it looks like 13 going to come in here and harass the SCV that's building the barracks. The SCV losing some HP here. He's going to have to pull off another SCV to try to defend against this, but 13 backing off and trying to take on into third SCV. So although 13 has not yet actually killed any SCVs, he has pulled 3 SC, or well, I guess additionally 2 more SCVs off the line. And although he looks like he's going to move back and try to scout now, those SCVs leave him alone. I would expect to see him move back and try to see if he can take out this SCV before it finishes the barracks. But it looks like it's not going to do that. And it looks like saying, oh hell no. I'm not sure exactly what that was about. But apparently Fear not happy about something. Not sure exactly what happened on there. But it looks like Fear finally able to take down the scout for 13. And it looks like the scout for Fear is gone as well. So maybe that's what he was referring to, is if 13 was able to take down his scout before he was really ready for it to be dead. But anyways, we do see Fear going for another wall off. This is very, very common for Terran players, especially in the maps where you've got these ramps leading out from your base, and it's very easy to block off with just 2 supply depots and a barracks. Getting 1 Marine out there just in case 13 tries to come up with an early Zealot and do some pressure. So that will not be effective, but I don't think that is going to be the case here at all. 13 did manage to get a gateway, a forge, and 1 cannon coming up here to defend this choke. Of course, on this map, one thing you have to be aware of if you defend this entrance is that there is a backdoor entrance with these line of sight blockers, and there's some destructible rocks blocking the ramp. So that is very, very important to keep track of. And 13 once again moving a probe across the map. I'm not sure if he's trying to do some additional scouting, or if he's I mean, he obviously is going to see that this is walled off, but I'm not sure exactly what else he may have been going for. Possibly seeing if there was an early tech lab to maybe be aware if he was going for Marauders or Reapers possibly. But of course all he saw was the tech lab. There was no additional units up there, so not getting a whole lot of information. There is a factory going down though, and 2 refineries up for Fear at this point. Let's take a look at the units overlay here. We can see that 13 does have 20 probes versus the 16 and I'm sorry, 17 now, and 1 mule for the Terran player. So again, the economies are going to be pretty even. It looks like there may be a slight advantage for 13 at this point, but we will see how that plays out a little bit further down the road. 13 of course does not have his gas yet, so going a little bit more mineral heavy build right now. It looks like we may see him putting down an early nexus here soon possibly, but he's putting down another cannon at the entrance to his base to help fortify this position. Although one thing I'm kind of surprised about is there's currently still only 1 pylon defending or powering basically all of this. If he loses that pylon, he's going to lose all the buildings at the front. But anyways, looking back at the probe that he has outside of the Terran base, he is going to come up to this ramp, and of course Fear has gone for straight Marauders again at this point, and it looks like those Marauders going to move out, and the supply depot going down for Fear. So he is going to show that Marauder, and 13 probably going to have to deal with this in a similar manner that he did in the first game. He does, of course, have another Nexus out right now, and it looks like those Marauders are going to move across the map and try to put some pressure on. 13 does have another pylon going down, so if they take out this pylon, it's not going to completely unpower everything again. Although it looks like Fear may be going for the back door entrance. 13 does have a pylon overhead, so he will be able to see that this is going on. He can't see the units, but if he is paying attention, he should notice that there is units firing over here and that the health for the rocks is going down here. Although at this point, he is not moving any of his units over in position to defend this. Taking a look at 13's base, he does have one cannon back near his mineral line, and he's putting up an additional gateway. But without the additional support of the cannons to block off the choke at his front entrance, I don't know if he's going to be able to hold this off or not. It looks like 13 moving over with his one stalker, trying to get a glimpse of this, and he does see this Marauder Marine force moving up into his base just as they finish killing these destructible rocks. And 13 currently only with one stalker to deal with this. He does have the warp gate technology research, so he should be able to warp in some units relatively quickly here to defend that, although it looks like Fear is going to back off now that he sees there are some cannons in play. And 13 has 3 cannons at his main to defend against this, and putting down another one right now in addition to only having 2 warp gates, or 2 gateways rather. He has not yet morphed them into warp gates. But it looks like the Nexus is up and running for 13 at his expansion, and we do not see an expansion yet for Fear. So Fear will have to make some kind of a timing push here if he wants to keep up with 13 at this point, because 13 is going to jump ahead economically here very